Good morning, my friends. Daniel Miller here, and I welcome you all to our Destiny world, Destiny 1. It is today, and I have loads of news to tell you. First of all, I want to be saying hello and thank you to Imperial, who was getting up very, very early in order to join our broadcast. Truly appreciate it, sir. We have lots of people in the US, and due to who are our community members, many of them are living in a very different time zone, and I know that sometimes it is 2 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, depending on the time zone when I start my broadcast. And I really truly appreciate your dedication, your commitment, and a desire to connect with other community members who are present here every day. I have several members who are waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning US time, and indeed participating as soon as they wake up. Jerry, for instance, from Dallas in Texas, is always telling us about what sort of weather conditions they have out there. He always says hello to everyone and wants to engage with our Destiny 1 veterans, and it's incredible that people are enjoying the content and our conversations as much, and I'm truly grateful. I'm truly astonished, in fact, that we have such a wonderful community. So thank you to Imperial, thank you to Elliot, thank you to, I think it was Rodri, and a few other people who were joining us. Thank you so much for that. Rodri was telling us about the progress on his game, so really very good to hear, Rodri. Thank you very much for letting us know. Rodri is our junior member from the US, and myself and a couple of other guys were helping Rodri to progress up the ladder with his Destiny 1, and he managed to level up quite sizably and quite considerably, which was to my delight. And I thought that also with some of other junior members who were coming in and helping you were able to do some raids and learn a bit more and collect some calcifer fragments. So all of that was truly wonderful. But guys, I'll do a bit of introduction first. I had a wonderful day and yesterday, and I think I mentioned to you that my plan was to go to the European flagship store of Microsoft that was open for business about 10 days ago, and I was planning to go there a couple of but when they opened, but basically the interest for the store was incredibly big, and there were lots of crowds coming in, and unfortunately I really wanted to participate in the first week in some of the presentation, and obviously the opening week they had many interesting things on offer, which indeed I know more. And they included various presentations on up-and-coming games such as Gears of War 5 and mini tournaments played in the games room straight away, and various other niceties for everyone who is a hardcore dedicated video gaming veteran, or indeed a gamer with passion for their games and online communities. So basically I scheduled some meetings in order to get to know more about their strategy and the plan overall. And that day obviously arrived yesterday. I went to the store, which is actually situated in the very center of our city. It's on Oxford Circus. So when you come to what is known as the West End of London, the very heart of the capital, you simply can't miss it. You just go to Oxford Circus Tube Station, and the big building to your right when you get out is the new Microsoft store. It is the first flagship store that Microsoft opened up in Europe, and it does have quite an astonishing a number of specialist staff that are there at hand to help you with all of your inquiries and everything that is Microsoft product related, from laptops through computers to the latest monitors and the tech to a wonderful gaming area which is on the first floor, and have 2 floors which were built for that purpose alone. And quite honestly, when you come in there, it is something out of this world. It's a very large games room, and you have many massive big displays which can be used by either individuals, groups or families. They have one large room which is provided in a separate area for people to stream live, and one has to book the room for a certain number of hours in order to be able to stream from there. But it's just absolutely brilliant, because first of all, you have the equipment which is state of the art. Secondly, it is in a secluded area, and thirdly, if you are a streamer, you can tell that you're doing your stream from the Microsoft flagship European store, and you can be doing it there and then. As I said, it does require a lot of planning. The area needs to be booked, but it is quite something to be doing your stream from there. In addition to that, there is a special family area where the entire family can get together and play some of the most sort of community-based games on a very, very large display screen, which I think is about 85 inches in size. Then there is another one which is for duos, where people could be doing races and doing Forza and similar kind of car stroke driving games. And then there are loads of other mini displays and monitors elsewhere. What they have is a specialist gravity-free tower, which, if I'm not mistaken, costs £40,000. £25,000 is just the price for the seat and all that is attached to it. So you literally feel, when you are to be using that tower, as if you're entering a spaceship, because you're going to be elevated, you're going to be kind of gravity-free, floating in space, so to speak, and then you'll be doing your game on a panoramic-styled monitor or selection monitors which are surrounding you. And presently you can play Forza and various other driving games in there, and it gives you a particular kind of experience of gaming. It's a bit like gaming in space, if you were in a spaceship and you're doing it up there. So really, really tremendous. And on the ground floor, when you come in, they also are promoting Forza to the best possible degree. You have a sports car parked inside, and you get in a car, and as you're driving the real car, you have a monitor at the front of you which is massive, and you can see the game. So if you watched Xbox presentation a couple of weeks ago on the opening day, you've had some celebrities like Raheem Sterling and Pete Crouch and John Boyega and Taron Egerton coming in and using the car in order to try the game, and it looked awesome during their presentation. But once you're there, once you're trying it in real life, it is indeed even more impressive. They have several, it's the whole building, so it's about 4 or 5 floors which are full of all kinds of high-tech equipment, with many specialist staff at hand to be telling you all about everything that is on offer. So I spent yesterday 5 hours talking to two specialists who are working in their video gaming department, and they were able to update me on everything which was considered to be the latest. And we just went through everything that is linked to Microsoft and all the products that are still to come our way within the next 6 months. I have to say, the games room is astonishing, and every day they run separate tournaments there so people can book the space. And yesterday they had a small Apex tournament with lots of junior gamers. That was really, really appreciated, and it was high paced, and I think it was lasting about 90 minutes. And what's interesting is you will have, I think, about 14 or even more, 16 different gamers competing. It's 2 teams of 8, and you can see all the scores on a very, very large screen which is displayed in the rear, and at the rear I should say, and you have sort of instant rewards if you are one of the winners. Some of the other displays are massive, and quite frankly, as all the games are played on Xbox One X in 4K resolution, the picture and sound quality are simply mouth-watering. And I got to say that I played a selection of games there. They included Apex and Fortnite and Sea of Thieves, a proprietary wonderful pirate game delivered by Microsoft. And really, it is just taking the gaming world to a completely different level. It's very immersive. You watch everything on such a large screen. The sound quality is second to none, and you become literally a part of that world. In addition to that, you become part of that gravity-free space if you're using the tower, and whilst doing that driving game, you feel you're floating in space, driving your favorite car and winning those races, which actually puts you in a particularly enjoyable frame of mind. We talked a lot about webinars, seminars, and various other classrooms which they run there every single day. All of those are focused on Microsoft activities and the products, so for anyone interested, they can always look it up online and then basically make appointments to join. Everything has to be booked in advance, and they're quite strict in terms of the actual access for certain types of activities. I'm very excited to hear from one of the chaps that we are going to be having a Gears of War 5 presentation and mini competition, and I think they'll be doing Gears 5 multiplayer. So as you know, the game's not been fully introduced to global audiences, so that is going to be basically the first live presentation of that sort in the United Kingdom, and I definitely want to go there on that day, have a look, participate, get acquainted, and get the first-hand experience of a wonderful RPG. I played Gears of War on Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and as you know, it's one of those legendary big games, very much aligned with the graphic novels world, and with plenty of fun, great animations, graphics, and in this instance a lot of multiplayer activity. We have a couple of new characters introduced to the story, and it just looks altogether absolutely jaw-dropping. Also, what's brilliant about their games room is the facilities offering you an instant access to everything that is on Xbox Game Pass, so you can download the game and you can access it and you can play it on that massive screen as long as you want. In fact, if there are large crowds, they might ask you basically to allow somebody else to use it and try it, but if you are working on some of the smaller screens, then there is no restriction or time limit. In fact, yesterday wasn't too busy, and I've chosen Monday as a day where usually people are resting from their weekend shopping. On the other hand, you never know, because it's in the very heart of the capital. There are lots of tourists in there, and it could be massive parties and crowds gathering and trying, obviously, to try the new equipment. So probably best to make an appointment and do everything in a manner which is a bit more organized. Everyone who lives in the UK, particularly for all of us Londoners, to take a moment of your time if you are in the town centre and pop in and have a look, because the experience of gaming is as presented in there truly immersive, and it will, even if you're not a great video gaming fan, once you've done some of those games on those big screens, you are going to feel really completely drawn and definitely hooked on some of those online activities. I've seen people doing it there yesterday as a family, and they were doing Overcooked, so they were cooking different products, and it just seemed like a perfect family-based activity for everyone who was seated on the sofas and enjoying those cooks. And then I've seen also some duos doing various games. They included some fighting games. There was some like Forza, obviously that would be focused on driving, and these were ideal for a co-op. So there is plenty for everyone to explore in there. The biggest news is I discussed with one of the managers whether I could do my Destiny stream there from time to time. Maybe we can have like 4 streams in a month. On a particular day, we'll choose the best day for us all. And he said, absolutely, there's no problem. We'll schedule it. They would have preferred for me to do it on Mixer, but I told them presently I can't do anything on Mixer because my community is on Twitch. And they said, this is all manageable, we just have to do a bit of planning and arrange for me to come in and do my streams from there. Well, I'm really excited about that, and I'll definitely take them up on it, because it's the best if we try it right at the beginning, whilst everything is brand new, and draw attention to the store as well as to the stream and everything else. So, obviously everyone watching on the day where I'll be streaming from the Microsoft's flagship store in London is going to notice the difference in terms of picture and sound quality and upload speed and everything else, because guess what, they've got the best setup in Europe. So it's not like just in London or anywhere around the UK, it's the best setup in Europe. It is incredible, and I can tell you it works perfectly. I tried everything there yesterday and I was astonished. So really a place to be. Anyone who loves video gaming, make sure you pop in, have a look, and visit the Microsoft's flagship store. It's in central London. It is on Oxford Circus. You can't miss it. And once you walk in, just ask for some assistance. There are loads of staff members at hand to provide you with any kind of knowledge and expertise that you may need. So that was a wonderful day. I've spent literally the whole afternoon from about, I think it was about 4 o'clock to literally the last minute, around 9 o'clock. They're open until 9 on most days, and talked to lots of other staff members who were providing me with introductions to the laptops and various other gadgets that are available. But obviously my main time was spent there in the games room, which is on the first floor, and all of my time there was most incredible and thoroughly enjoyable. What I particularly liked was the way they are using Xbox Game Pass. It's it's an old product, but they are definitely working on cross-platform access. You get your ultimate subscription, and therefore you can access it from wherever you are. The focus that Microsoft are taking at the moment is all about cross-platform, and they will want to make sure that anybody who is basically using Xbox could then be using also the laptop or the Android, through obviously their own services in order to access the games and play them, wherever you are, globally or domestically. And I think this is still in its infancy. There are lots of rough edges that will need to be polished up, but just don't forget, if you're a subscriber to the services like Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Now, you basically can simply access more than 1,000 games at once. Just think about it, 1,000 games. This is a massive library. There are all sorts of games there, from blockbusters to some which are considered to be more obscure, but at the same time it's instant access, and they said instant access is their prerogative. They really want to make sure that everyone, wherever they are, can just access all the games and have a lot of fun, build their own communities, connect with people worldwide, and the stats are just simply growing. And I think also, I talked to the manager about this, as we're living in very testing and very, very trying times, with a lot of difficulties out there day to day, people feel a lot of financial pressure, lots of difficulties career-wise, many problems to do with running costs and everyday expenses. It is purely natural that, like in the 1930s, where there were lots of threats present in society, people resort to something which at that time was your dream factory, i.e. what we know today as golden era of Hollywood. Well, that's been replaced by the golden era of video gaming, which is happening right now. Never ever before did we have 2.5 billion people entertaining themselves through video gaming, making new connections with people worldwide and building their own communities. And it's providing a tenfold sort of activity. I guess you can approach it purely from the basics, which are enjoying your favorite video game, through making new friends and creating bonds with people worldwide, and then the more advanced is building your own communities and becoming an online streamer. So the opportunities for bonding, connecting and interaction are almost infinite, and it's all down to every individual and their own personal preferences in order to build their own communities and acquire a significant presence online. Never ever has it been easier compared to today to basically ask for some assistance and to bring in people to participate in your fire team, as we've seen here with Destiny on so many occasions, and that applies to all other multiplayer games. They also confirmed multiplayer is the way forward, and multiplayer is definitely the most preferred method of gaming of today. They also said that Battle Royale massively overtook, and some of the adventure games are suffering to a degree, but adventure games will have to have, in addition to the basic story, some multiplayer component, and maybe sometimes even an add-on of Battle Royale in order to make them accessible and interesting to everyone, which does require some extra funds, resources and input. I think Battle Royale was definitely very present in there, and we've seen many people playing Fortnite and Apex. In addition to Forza, I think driving games seem to be very popular. I'm not inclined to FIFA or Forza. It's just not the kind of activity I particularly enjoy. I personally don't drive, and therefore I don't have that propensity towards doing such video games. But on the other hand, Forza is also a very good introduction for anyone who wants to get to know more about the UK. And the latest game was so beautifully designed, and you go through various parts of the country through different seasons. It just looks incredible, beautiful, mouth-watering. Also, it's a very good advert for anyone who is considering whether to come to the United Kingdom for their holidays or any other activity, and you can just use it for that purpose in addition to gaming and driving. So all very good, and just think about it. If you are driving to various areas, you may hook up with people who live in those areas. They'll be able to recognize their own locality, their own houses, their own streets, and you can talk to them. So you can ask people who are watching your stream live, or indeed people who are participating and watching some of the activity on Mixer or any other Microsoft-based hub, about their local area. You can ask them about shops, you can ask them about what life's like out there, and it's definitely a very good way of creating new bonds in those areas. So remember, gaming is all about interactivity and connectivity and communication. So these are the top priorities for everyone working for Microsoft at the moment, and they want to make sure that the activity is not just enjoyable in terms of pastime and leisure, but they also want people to have a great deal of benefit from the activity. So, lots of different ways through which people can connect, and I'm quite certain we'll be looking at maybe different types of achievements offered in the future, and different ways through which people can communicate via those games directly, which would mean you have certain activities introduced per game, and we've seen that in the games like Hearthstone, and there were a few other ones mentioned yesterday where you can be betting on the result or the outcome, and where you can be discussing what people should be or should not be doing. So, all of that is evolving, and my day yesterday was absolutely magnificent. I felt so fulfilled. I was so happy to have gone on Monday. It didn't seem to be overly busy. I could try everything in there which was on display. I could talk to any staff member and spend as long as I wanted with them, and it was a very, very rewarding and enriching experience. So I'm very grateful to all of the guys who spent the time with me. Two of them are floor managers in the department for gaming, and I'm very grateful to Adrian and Scott for all the time spent together with me. We are going to be doing some activities together in the future. As I said, we'll arrange for some of my streams to be done from there, and if you have a moment, you can also look on the website. There are some photographs and other bits of information related to that video gaming hub. You'll be able to see the streaming room, which does have about, I think it's two decks, and then the mixing desk and a few other bits in there in order to enhance the quality. And it's going to be absolutely wonderful to be able to do that from that terrific new gaming facility. But don't forget, Microsoft flagship store is not all about gaming. When you come in there, they offer lots of other products. They have many other areas which are of interest. So for anyone who wants to find out more about laptops and computers and anything Microsoft related, Microsoft products related, you can just pop in and ask for advice, and you'll be given the latest, the best, and you are going to be able to try everything. And you can try it as long as you like, provided likely. I think my experience of yesterday was that the turnaround was massive, which meant people would pop in, do maybe half hour of some activities, and then they would leave, compared to maybe a few youngsters who were spending a few hours doing the games. But if they were obviously very young, they had to be there with their parents. Their parents were a bit impatient. But we had the family playing Overcooked for quite a while, for a couple of hours, and they had a lot of fun, which I thought was fascinating. And it's the first time I've seen that sort of family-orientated game delivered in that environment with such massive big displays. And it just felt like they were in their own kind of family quarters, although everything was well integrated with the rest of the displays and everything else that you have in the gaming hub. But it just seemed perfect, and everyone was well behaved. We didn't have any sort of incidents or problems, and people paying attention to their own game. They were trying out all different bits of equipment. And there are two items which I found most fascinating. It's the streaming room, which is state of the art. It's literally the tops, as if you're walking into one of the BBC studios. And the other was that gravity-free tower. Gravity-free tower is a kind of thing that how to put it? It unfolds. You need to remove all those bits. But it's very similar to what you will get if you're training to be a pilot, because you're seated and then everything locks in, and you have those 3 monitors with panoramic views, and then you have your controller, and then you're lifted up in the air where you feel gravity free, and then you can be doing a game, and in this instance you're playing Forza. So it's just quite an extraordinary experience. That is, I guess, a tower meant to be provided in certain hotels and big leisure places, because the cost is, I think, exceeding £40,000, £25,000 for the tower, and then for all the equipment that comes together with it. And as you could imagine, not many people will be able to afford this, but certainly, as an attraction, something for people to try. It is indeed wonderful, and everyone who tried it was really amazed by the immersive quality, because when you're driving, you're POV and you are driving in between those other cars. So I guess the closest way you can get to virtual reality. I didn't see any virtual reality there yesterday, I have to admit, and I wondered whether they left it to Sony because they're proprietary to some of the VR headsets and those things which are applicable to that area of the industry. But that was as close as it gets, together with that car. But the car, you're sitting in sports car, I think it's Porsche or Lamborghini, and you're driving this car, and actually you're driving the game, because literally in front of you there's this massive screen. And if anybody's interested, you can have a look on the website. And also I want to tell everyone, what I'll do is, I did take loads of photographs, and then if I have enough time today, certainly within the next 24 hours, I will be publishing at least 50 or 60 of those photographs on my Instagram, and you will be able to see some of that activity. You'll be able to see what this looks like in real life. You'll see all the wonderful displays. You'll see some of the staff members, and it is going to be very interesting for everyone to watch. I guess I could have done a small stream in there live on my phone, but considering how busy it is, it's not a good idea. It'd be full of with plenty of intrusions and many other interferences, and also I think the privacy of other gamers and participants needs to be respected, particularly considering there are lots of children in there, and as you know, Twitch is not allowing children younger than 13 to be participating at all. So filming that sort of activity would have to be acquiring some special permission from Twitch, and it's just obviously a kind of arduous process, and I think generally that sort of thing is best avoided. Let me see, I have here some messages from Elliot. Hello Elliot, how are you doing? Good to see you here. Elliot says, I'm 13. Well, you come obviously in that category. You can watch and you can obviously chat, but unfortunately you cannot be participating in a live online gaming forum either through audio activities, because this is against the rules that both Twitch uphold, as well as the federal laws in the United States. They are prohibiting any form of participation of children younger than 13 and younger, I should say, in any kind of live forum. So that is strictly upheld. And we've had one junior member popping in recently here, and my moderators reminded me of the fact that Twitch is basically not allowing that sort of activity on the channel, and children will have to first of all confirm their age, and then secondly, if they're aged 13 to 18, they will have to have a permission from the parents to be in a live online forum, and it is a policy which is fiercely enforced. And Elliot said, I'm struggling on VOG. Well, you have to just wait a bit. You can watch Twitch and you can, read very many bits of information, but I would not advise you to be in any of those forums live online for the reasons just stated. And, so it's very important. And Imperial says, I happen to be 16 years old. Well, for 16 years old, there is participation on Twitch live online, but there has to be express permission given by that person's parents in order to be live online. It's just the way the privacy laws work and the way the current legislation, actually works for us all, and we've got to be strictly adhering to those rules. And as you know, I'll tell you one thing, all the big displays there in Microsoft Store have got parental lock. So I wanted to try, for instance, Halo. I wanted to try Destiny, and I wanted to try, what was the other game? Anthem, because, wanted to try it on a massive big 85-inch screen, or even bigger than that, and I couldn't play them on those big screens. I could access them on some small screens, but on the big ones it was parental lock, and none of these games could be tried in full because of that parental lock, and it's very, very strictly enforced. And also all the children there who were 13 and younger were being escorted and helped by staff members. Not a single child was left alone. So these are the rules, and that's the way it is. And for anyone who is 13, I guess I can only tell you just have to wait a little while, get your parents' permission, and then you can participate step by step. But anyone 13 and younger unfortunately cannot at present. And as you know, there are games which are designed for children, but these games are not Apex or Call of Duty or PUBG, and you know what these games are about. And the fact is that the laws and rules are upheld, and although they might appear to be a bit loose when it comes to people purchasing gaming, I can assure you, if you were to do something online which is recorded, and something that goes to Twitch or YouTube, then obviously that will be enforced by those companies. So keep this in mind. You want your gaming and your activities online to be easy, entertaining, highly enjoyable. Make sure you abide by those rules. That's most important. And I say that to all the other streamers, because I've seen people being suspended for life and blocked, and in some instances even prosecuted, and that's just not necessary. You just have to basically read the terms and conditions that you have with Twitch. It's like a contract if you're a streamer. Read everything in there, all the small print, and make sure that your own channel rules are fully aligned. Alright guys, so that was my resume of all of those wonderful activities yesterday at the flagship store of this wonderful company called Microsoft. I know some people hate Microsoft, but I can tell you, when I go there and when I try all the equipment and I talk to all the staff members, I can't just stop loving it. And I was very excited to hear some news on Project Scarlet and Xbox Cloud, and they told me they've had, I think it was during the first weekend, so it would have been about 7-8 days ago, they had a full E3 style presentation of xCloud and Project Scarlet. And I think they probably are likely to have that in the future, but I really kind of kicked myself in the teeth for missing it, because I wanted to be there and I wasn't fully aware of that being done during that weekend. They said they didn't want to advertise it overly on the website because they're worried that there'll be too many people coming, and this is obviously a reasonable concern in view of the fact that the store is so central and it's massive and it's easy access, it's free for all, so there's a lot of security in there, so you can be assured that all of your time within the store is going to be very safe, sound and secure. And people who went there were able to enjoy those presentations. In fact, those presentations were held on the top floor where they have like a business suite, and I look forward to be introduced to some of those facilities. They didn't have anything going yesterday, so I just had a look, but there were no activities. The equipment was switched off, obviously to save energy, and we'll be looking forward to some other major business presentation in order to participate. And it did sound very exciting and very interesting, and I'll be able to tell you more about Project Scarlet, which is the next Xbox console, scheduled to come out during Christmas of 2020, and then all other matters Xbox cloud related, one of which is their partnership with Sony. It's completely under the wraps. They couldn't tell me anything about it for obviously the reasons known, and there will be more and more information trickling along as we go forward, and I really look forward to those presentations and those workshops in addition to all I've seen so far. So let me just have a look. We are now back to our beloved Destiny 1. We've had no streams on Sunday and Monday, and I took a break, and it was definitely well earned and well deserved, because I stream every day for about 6 hours, and I've had some days where I had 2 streams of Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 all together. It would come to about 10-11 hours. And sometimes I find those days to be a bit overbearing, a bit heavily taxing on me, And we talked yesterday with one of the managers, and I said, well, the best way of delivering your streams is in a structured format with a kind of regular schedule and delivered in a moderate quantity. So for me, 5 to 6 hours is just topping it. 5 hours is the best. 6 hours feels sometimes a bit too long. And I also said to them that I find to be of particular interest to retain that degree of attention at all times, because we have a channel here called Gaming Dialogue, DRBMiller's Gaming Dialogue channel. So everything we do is all about our communication, our dialogue. We talk at all times, and that itself is the most important aspect of our community work here on Twitch. So if I do it for longer than 5-6 hours, I get a bit tired, my attention is not 100%, I get hazy or diffused, and this is what was happening recently with that massive humidity, which we are still suffering from in the UK. And there comes like 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, I feel really hazy due to humidity, and I can't really enjoy my game as much as usual, and then therefore it becomes counterproductive. So I know that some younger streamers feel under a lot of pressure. They want to generate subscribers or viewers or fans or followers, but do it modestly, do it moderately, do it step by step, and always approach it as a very long-term project. They did tell me that they've had quite a few streamers popping in, and they've had some people saying they're completely burnt out as a result of the activity. I think that's not the way originally intended, and gaming is not about doing it 24/7 and being fully addicted to it. It's simply the means through which we can both enjoy our gaming activity as well as today to connect with other people worldwide. And it's best done in some degree of moderation, where we can both entertain and enjoy ourselves and others and make new friends. And keep it that way, guys. Keep it that way. I've had a few people from the US coming in early in my broadcast, and they will tell me, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna stay up all night, and we'll do it all night. And don't do it like that. It's not necessary. It's the best if you do it during the day, and then you can spend your time doing other things and tasks later in the day, and you can allocate days where you have a lot of free time, and then you can hook up with other guys and build your own communities. Make sure that you are moderate in the approach, that you're not chasing certain scores. In fact, it was quite visible yesterday. The games that people really wanted to play at all times were competitive games. They want to do Apex and Fortnite and FIFA to a degree. And it's about scoring, it's about excelling, about achieving. But don't forget, if you have a top football team, a team of athletes, they will be working hard. Sometimes the hard work will be bordering on torture. But after that, they will be resting. They can't be working on, the skill 24/7 because their bodies can't take it. The same thing applies to gaming. Gaming as it stands today requires a lot of training, a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge, particularly if you're doing those complex games such as Destiny 2 Forsaken, or if you're doing Elder Scrolls, if you're doing all the other games that require a lot of training. I mean, people playing PUBG and Apex, although they appear to be fairly straightforward linear games, will spend many thousands of hours professing the skill with aiming, with stealth, with their structured teamwork, with the build-up of strategies which apply to their co-op or to larger teams. And it will take a lot of time and practice. We all believe practice makes perfect, and it just got to be done modestly. That's all I want to say to everyone. I have seen some people spending too much time on games, and I think that is counterproductive, because in order to excel in Apex or Fortnite or Call of Duty or Battlefield or anywhere where you're actually collecting scores, you've got to be awake, you've got to be alert, and you will have the limit to what you can achieve during a particular hour. So think about it when approaching the game, and apply the top sportsman approach to anything you do in esports. Remember that. And top sportsmen are people whom you can learn from. So you have your Ronaldos and Bolts and Phelpses and Federers and people in various disciplines. Learn a lot from them after you read the interviews and find out what actually makes them tick, and then apply the same skill to your esports and your video gaming, and you will benefit tremendously. Esports are evolving rapidly, and it's likely that they will become as present and as popular in due course as we have with traditional sports. It may be that some of the sports will be outflanked by esports as they connect global communities live online 24/7, which is obviously of tremendous benefit. Think about it, somebody doing a football match will not have instant access to that football match globally, but somebody doing Destiny or Fortnite can, and that itself is going to be of tremendous benefit. So keep this in mind and make sure indeed that you have that degree of modesty, that vision which is based on structure, and that you obviously remain polite, attentive, courteous and friendly to everyone who pops in and who becomes a member of your community. So these were the news related to my yesterday's activities at this wonderful Microsoft flagship store. You'll hear a lot more about it. Once I schedule my streams to be done from the facility, I'll be able to let you know both here live on my broadcast and through my other forums such as Instagram and Twitter. So you'll be well alerted in order to get to know all that is my Microsoft stream related. I really look forward to being there and being able to try all the equipment. I still have to work out a few logistics in terms of how we're going to do it, but they said there were no problems with Twitch streams and they've had other people doing it already. So it may be that I'll have a test stream, a short one, just to see how everything works, and then if everything was as expected, we'll make it maybe a regular occurrence. We can have 1 day a week or 1 day a month or so, depending where we can be actually doing from there. And I really want to see the difference in those speeds and the quality graphics and everything else, because doing a stream on the best setup in Europe is definitely going to be beneficial for us all, particularly for my viewers who are always enjoying the content, but unfortunately due to our local area and the absence of the fastest possible fiber optic, I cannot provide you with such high quality picture, and that is to my great dismay. I tried everything I could, hassled all of those ISPs, asking them to provide us with new cables and the best connection, and they are simply not doing what is required so far. Heard some rumors. It's likely that in the autumn we'll have fast fiber optic access. I'm certainly hoping that the rumor is indeed true rather than just somebody's invention. Right, so we've come to a time which in fact we enjoy the most, and that is our activity in Destiny 1. We talked a bit during the recent weeks on the schedule, about the schedule, and we talked about perhaps the need to incorporate Destiny 2 Forsaken during our day stream. So maybe from next week I'll try that. So we'll have we'll have Destiny 1 and 2 on consecutive days. We'll have maybe Destiny 1 on Monday, Destiny 2 on Tuesday. We go back then to Destiny 1 on Wednesday, and we carry on in the same fashion for maybe a week or two. I just want to see the interest and the reception. I want to see whether our regular community members will pop in at the same rate, and whether they will enjoy Destiny 2 Forsaken as much as they enjoy Destiny 1. Initially everybody wanted just Destiny 1, but in view of all of those developments advertised for September, which include the new chapter Shadowkeep, a free standalone game called New Light, as well as another season, all taking place in Destiny 2 Forsaken, the interest for that game, for the sequel, had been exponentially rising. And also in addition to that, we've seen many new gamers coming in to Destiny 1, wanting to experience it before the new releases. And all of that has been really truly exciting and most rewarding. So I look forward to that sort of experience. We'll start that from next week, so we'll have a week of experiments, and we can have a week with both of those games present on a day stream, and then we can review it. And I'd just like to ask all my community members to pop in and have a look and tell us what your views are, because I want the channel to be absolutely based on our community desires, requests and views. Right, Hunter Human Male 4400 DRBMiller it will be. There we are, up in orbit. We are going to be first of all landing at our next destination, which is going to be the tower. I need to collect some bounties, so that's the first step. But I want to say to everyone who's not living in the UK, we're experiencing massive humidity at the moment, and on Thursday the expectation is that the temperatures will reach 36 or even 38 in some parts of the country. Maybe even that tomorrow we'll see 33, 34, and I really do not look forward to that. I was in London yesterday the whole day, and that humidity combined with pollution was absolutely unmanageable. When I walked back later in the day, this was already after 11 o'clock, this humidity was so bad, coupled with pollution, that I felt so wet. I felt almost as if I was literally out of the shower. And fortunately we have brand new trains on on my regular route, and those trains are with fantastic air conditioning, so you come in and you feel completely rejuvenated. But the fact is, the air was so poor, and of course air conditioning worked beautifully at that Microsoft store, and made all of our activities very, very enjoyable and thoroughly pleasurable. Really, walking the streets was a true nightmare indeed, and I'm not looking forward to that Thursday. But in the area where I am, it is not too bad, and also at my house it's not particularly hot, although it gets a bit humid considering we are on Four Rivers, and particularly later in the day, so that is after 5 o'clock. So we are now going to be proceeding to our next destination. In order to it's been all week's going to be sunshine. Yeah, of course it is going to be sunshine. We had very hot weather yesterday, and it carries on today, and I think Thursday is basically the day where we are likely to be experiencing the hottest weather this year. 36 to 38 is expected. Whereabout are you, Elliot, in the UK? You're down south, up north, where are you? I don't know whether you commute, but if you come to central London, then beware of the crowds, of that pollution, and particularly that dreadful humidity. It's very bad if you go on the underground, It's really hot and humid in there. It's best if one can just walk the streets, can at least get some air. It's very hot on the buses. I even thought yesterday how busy London had become. It's always been a busy city, but presently it is just like, oh, you're up north, up Yorkshire. We have several people from Yorkshire. Well, you have a very, very different way of life out there. And London is almost like a separate country compared to the rest of England, and in fact to the rest of our country, the United Kingdom. But I was just thinking yesterday how busy London is, because when you walk those central areas, it is just like one big sea of people. When you come to Oxford Street, it's unbelievable. Alright, my friends.
Stared Oryx in the face.
Indeed, I stared Oryx in the face. Nothing in there, but we did have a few bits
Room 709.
left with our postmaster.
Ready to assist.
Oh, helmet, exotic engram we've got, so that's pretty good. What are the other ones? I should say I need to go back to the vault. Choose armor. The only trouble is the vast majority of those are warlock related, so I can't do anything. Okay, that's all 400. No. Yeah, these are all 400, aren't they? Neurogast. Yeah. these ones we don't actually need. I have several, and what I'll do is I'll delete them. Keep picking up those exaltation grasps quite frequently, so you could see. Grips rather than grasps, I beg your pardon. And then what we'll do is we'll just go to the vault and we'll put one of those items in there. There's a fine crown. Okay, and we can pick up that helmet.
Service normal. Transfer.
Armor shader. Armor shader. Can also get another one. Not that really keen on some of those. Let's see if we got, yeah, Arctic proxy. We can get rid of that one. Delete. And we'll take.
Hi.
Babylon 9191.
Have an efficient day.
And we'll go back to the Postmaster.
What have you found, Hunter? That looks pretty solid, Guardian.
It's a Knucklehead Radar. Knucklehead Radar is my exotic helmet. That was just picked up from the Postmaster. And that would be, let me see what the perks are. The first perk is Sensor Pack. Radar remains visible while aiming primary weapons. Okay. Increase discipline and strength. In here we have Inverse Shadow, Ashes to Assets, and Innovation. Bonus energies, Super Energy, and Ashes to Assets. Okay. So that's pretty good. We've got another shader in here to see what Babylon is going to look like. You know what, that shader's not bad. Quite like it. Let's try that shader for the time being. Valsgard is my favorite. It's looking quite awesome. A bit more colorful, right? Okay. And then we'll collect some
Come
bounties.
back if you learn anything of interest.
We'll leave that one with the Postmaster.
Re-establishing signals to the reef.
The bounties we'll pick up will be strikes related. We'll start with some strikes. So
Confirmed.
yeah, we picked these ones up the other day. 20 of those are in there. Yeah, so that's all done and dusted. Let me just quickly see. Okay.
Transaction complete.
And there we are. We'll just crack on with our first strike. Go up front there. Look at the view. Consider everything that we treasure the most, and then we'll go to orbit. Oh, it's Tuesday today, so we can obviously access that new Crucible I mean, new Crucible, our new Nightfall strike. We may do that later today, but we'll open up with some Steve Heroic strikes. Airborne, players deal more damage while in the air. Exposure, Guardian shields are increased but do not replenish. And enemies appear in greater numbers. So we are really spared. And we don't have any of those difficult ones, such as Berserk, or what's the one where you don't have any radar? Game Match, I think it's called. Or Match. Elliot's saying, can you help me with Nightfall? I won't be able to do that right away. I have a very, very packed schedule, and I have to take a couple of breaks during my stream in order to basically complete some of the other tasks. And perhaps I'll be able to help you with your Nightfall on another day. I know that today we already had 2 people booked for the Nightfall, so you know, our viewing of Nightfall today will be with 2 of other community members who booked their presence. I'm just waiting for them to come in. They'll come in later in the afternoon, so probably after 2 o'clock. But sure, I mean, Elliot will be glad to help. And I think what we'll do is we'll book you in for tomorrow, if that's alright with you. And then we can do it. So I'll put you on my list, I'll book you for tomorrow, and then your space for the Nightfall will be reserved. As you know, I can do the Nightfall several times in a week. And, you know, no big deal really. We can be always striving to the completion of our Sunrise Bounty. We need to complete it within 30 minutes, and that's always, you know, the primary target. If people's asking, is there a chance I could join? I'd like to bring in, but right now I have, a very, very busy schedule, and what I'll do is I'll do a couple of strikes, and then I have to take a break, and I'll come back with another stream, with another activity later. And once I come back, I'll be able to bring it in. I apologize for this, but it's a very, very hectic day for us in the UK. I think
those fallen we
Elliot will know as to why we have a momentous day in the UK.
If these reports are correct, he's
where,
commanding them from a network of caves
the immediate
up in the
future of our
cinders.
country is going to be decided. So
safe.
all of our eyes and
push
ears
into
are
their
basically
lair, take him
glued
out.
to Sky News and BBC. And in about 20 minutes we'll have, a very major announcement. And I want to be participating that live, I'm afraid, so, you know.
I'm ready if you are.
Elliot says it's super hot in the UK, absolutely. And getting hotter. Yeah, we are doing our first strike. I wonder where the other guys are. Looks like I'm the only person who's been brought in. We'll carry on. What I do need to do before I carry on is I need to get some ammunition for my sword. Okay, so that is the next step. Heavy ammunition synth is there. Elliot says it's super hot in the UK and I'm gonna be getting in the pool in a bit. Well, I'll be going to my swimming pool tonight and go swimming usually 3 to 5 times a week. And you know, once it's so hot, it's always useful to be doing some swimming, to be near any swimming pools. Is the pool near you, or do you have it literally within your estate where you live?
That's gotta be the
Well, I
way
mean,
into their land.
is the pool literally within your property, or do you have to go elsewhere swimming? Elliot does have a swimming pool in his backyard. Well, Elliot, that is astonishing. That's the best
There could be
possible.
thousands of fallen in here.
I wish I had the same, but unfortunately I do not. But you know what? The swimming pool that I use, which is in a sports centre, is almost like that. It's literally a stone throw away from me. It's like 5 minutes away from me on foot. So it's as good as that. I really can't complain with a proper, you know, Olympic swimming pool. They're really cool. So I literally have to walk for 5 minutes to get there, which is, you know, nice and easy. And I think for anyone who's a serious video gamer, doing regular swimming is a necessity. I might highly recommend it to everyone. Honestly, I don't know what I would do without swimming.
Guard is here. Kel must be close.
Find the Draxis. Oh yeah, we have to go up. I keep forgetting.
A catch. It must belong to the House of Winter. I've never seen one on the surface. The Kel's gotta be inside.
Elliot says that there is also another one called Hillsborough Swimming Bath, which is not too far. And Elliot says I might get I might get my pool now. In fact, sounds good. What's the temperature there, Elliot, in Liverpool? Is it like 30? Because they said up north was going to be very, very hot today. Let me just see what the temperature is up here. It was about 25 early on. Yeah, 26. We're going towards 31. This is going to be 31, 32 down here, and that's really not what I want to see. I was dying yesterday in London, I've got to tell you. It was dreadful. It was so humid. Oh, it was really... It's all of that pollution, all those cars, you know, the heat. Better hurry up in here. What happened now, for goodness sake?
A catch. It must belong to the House of Winter. I've never seen one on the surface. The Kell's gotta be inside.
Elliot says today 24 might go up to 29, on Thursday it's going to be 33 degrees. Yeah, Thursday they said up to 36, 38 down south. So you know, like really hot. Losing lives so rapidly. yet again.
A catch. It must belong to the House of Winter. I've never seen one on the surface. The Kell's gotta be inside. A catch. It must belong to the surface.